back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at how Arsenal could line up against Villarreal. So you're going to go straight into the formation, and is Mikel going to go with the 3-4-3 formation, or is he going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 formation? And in terms of Mikel, he knows he has an opponent in the form of Unai Emery, who loves to change his tactics according to the team's weaknesses. And we clearly saw that with Unai Emery at Arsenal, because a number of formation changes, we always have to predict what formation he's playing, which players are playing where, and that's something that Unai Emery does with his formations. So Mikel might change the formation to confuse Unai Emery and give him a problem which he didn't expect. And could Mikel do the unexpected? Well, I think he won't. I won't think he will go with a 3-4-3 formation, given the fact that Kieran Tierney may not be still in contention, even though Mikel said recently that he's in contention with the likes of Aubameyang and Lacazette. But it might be another bluff like we saw last week, where he said that they were in contention, but they weren't even in the squad, but they did travel with the Arsenal squad. So you have to wait and see if Mikel goes with the 3-4-3 formation, or if he goes with the 4-2-3-1 formation. But I think Mikel is going to go with the 4-2-3-1 formation, given the fact that he is someone that stays with his own formation, so that's why he will stay with the 4-2-3-1 formation, and that's why I think he's going to go with the 4-2-3-1 formation. So you're going to go straight into the goalkeeper, and this is where Mikel does have a choice to make in either Bernd Leno or Matt Ryan. And if he goes with Bernd Leno, someone that has stated in the latest transfer news, you can check those videos out where I've talked about Bernd Leno saying that he is someone that wants to leave the club at the end of the season, and he doesn't want to extend his contract, even though his contract runs until 2022. So in terms of Bernd Leno, he is someone that is going to be here for another 2 years until 2023. So in terms of Bernd Leno, he's someone that doesn't have his mindset in Arsenal at the moment. He said he's open to everything. It doesn't matter if he's at Arsenal, if he leaves Arsenal, it doesn't really matter. But you can clearly see how much of a mistake Arsenal made when they sold Emiliano Martinez and kept Bernd Leno, to now see Bernd Leno going to leave as well. That was two good goalkeepers now we got rid of, in my opinion, and it was a bit bad business in terms of Mikel Arteta, because he needed the transfer funds. We got the £20 million for Emiliano Martinez. For me, you could at least got £30 or £35 million minimum for Emiliano Martinez, given the situation with the pandemic, and we sold him. There's always going to be talk about Arsenal with the Emiliano Martinez situation. That's always going to haunt us back. But Mikel Arteta has the opportunity now, if he sells Bernd Leno, to get a decent goalkeeper. It could be Matt Ryan as the number one, or to get someone that just forgets everything about Bernd Leno and forgets everything about Emiliano Martinez. However, for this game, if Mikel Arteta is going to choose one man, either Bernd Leno or the likes of Matt Ryan, he's definitely going to go with Bernd Leno, given the fact that Bernd Leno is our number one goalkeeper, and this is the biggest match of our season, so he's going to go with Bernd Leno in goal. So we're now going to move into the right back position, and is Mikel Arteta going to go with Callum Chambers, or is he going to go with the likes of Hector Bellerin or the likes of Cedric Soares? In terms of the three right backs, I'll probably say that Callum Chambers is number one in the pecking order, then Hector Bellerin, and then Cedric Soares. And it's a real shame on Cedric Soares, someone that had those games where he did start against Tottenham. He had a run of form where he was starting right back, but then for some reason, I don't know if he's been performing badly, if Mikel Arteta just prefers other players over him. Cedric Soares hasn't been getting the run-in that he deserves, in my opinion. I think he should have more games than Hector Bellerin, but given the fact that Hector Bellerin is a Mikel Arteta favourite, he's someone that Mikel Arteta loves, and he's someone that he's probably going to regret when he loses, because in terms of Mikel Arteta, he knows the guy. His guy, Bellerin, lived in his house for some time when they were together at Arsenal. They used to have a very good relationship off the football pitch, so we know that these two have a good relationship, and that bias is coming into play. So I'm really glad that Hector Bellerin will be leaving at the end of the season. It's 90 to 100% sure, but there are talks that Achraf Hakimi, from my latest video today in the morning, when I uploaded at 10 o'clock, you can clearly see that Achraf Hakimi may be a blow if the likes of Bayern Munich are interested. And if you're going to have Arsenal and Bayern Munich competing for Achraf Hakimi, who would you go for, Bayern Munich or Arsenal? And you will definitely go with Bayern Munich. And so this game is very massive, and this game is somewhere we can decide if we make it into the Champions League, somewhere where you can attract the best players. So even though we're probably going to get battered, we might even not even get out of the group stages, in my opinion, because that's how awful we are as a team. But it will give us the opportunity to bring in key players. It will give us the transfer funds. We won't have these excuses anymore where we're not in the Champions League. We don't have the money to spend on players. We need a massive squad overhaul, in my opinion. We might even need a manager overhaul as well. We might need new managers into the team. We might need a new main manager. We have to wait and see what is planned for Arsenal. Hopefully it's only good things. We even need an owner shift as well. We need a new owner. So there's a lot of things that could change in Arsenal by the end of next season, by the end of this season. So we have a lot of things riding on this Europa League semi-final. And Mikel Arteta knows that he's either going to choose Callum Chambers or Hector Bellerin, given the fact that Cedric Soares looks like the third choice centre-back, third choice right-back, and Hector Bellerin, someone that did perform quite well against Newcastle, somewhere where I actually saw him perform quite well. It's because the players such as Willian like to keep their width, and this sort of matched with Hector Bellerin's play, where he likes to do those underlapping runs. Someone that could fight Callum Chambers to have a starting spot, but Mikel Arteta looks like he's got his one man, someone that's very good offensively and defensively. As we saw how good he was offensively versus West Ham United, that is Callum Chambers. So in that right back position, we're going to probably go with Callum Chambers, and in my opinion, if Mikel Arteta is going to go with Callum Chambers, I think I would say 90 to 80% that I would probably go with him as well. Maybe Cedric Soares instead of Hector Bellerin. But for me, I'll rather go with Callum Chambers rather than Cedric Soares, given the fact that Callum Chambers has played more minutes. Someone that's been playing of recent, whereas Cedric Soares, you bring a new man, you put him into the game, would he be able to adapt very quick? That's another question. So you're now going to move into the right centre-back position, and this is where Mikel Arteta has a choice to make. Was he going to go with Rob Holding, or is he going to go with David Luiz? But unfortunately, due to David Luiz's injury, the only negative I saw from the game against Newcastle United was the fact that he limped off the game. He picked up some form of hamstring injury, so we don't know how much is going to take for him to recover and get back into contention and into match fitness. But you can clearly see that Rob Holding is probably going to be playing in that right centre back position ahead of David Luiz and other players. But I've always been calling for one thing. If we have two of our best centre backs, we have Gabriel Magalhaes and Pablo Mari. If those two are our best two centre backs, why not play them together? You saw what certain times what Pep Guardiola does with his team. If Mikel Arteta is number two, if Mikel Arteta is basically the fake Pep Guardiola, he played two left centre backs and he won Manchester City the League Cup against Tottenham. So you can clearly see that two left centre back won't affect our dynamic. It's just the way Mikel Arteta needs to play, in my opinion. Play our best two centre-backs, but is it too risky to play Gabriel Magalhaes and Pablo Mari together? That's the question now, because if Mikel Arteta puts those two in, they don't have no relationship before, they haven't played with each other before, so Mikel Arteta has a big decision to make. But I think he's going to go in that right centre-mid position. I think he's going to go in that right centre-back position. He's going to go with Rob Holding, and for me, even though Rob Holding is not that bad, I don't mind with Rob Holding, given the fact that he does his duties well. He's someone that will listen to the manager, he'll put 110% in, but does he have the quality of a real good right centre-back? You see what John Stones is doing at Manchester City. He was someone that was under the radar, someone that could have even joined Arsenal. Arsenal fans were even saying, why John Stones? But look at John Stones right now. You have to get to that level, at least somewhere near his level is something that you can achieve at the Gunners. You have to use him as an example. If you're Rob Holding, you have someone that wants to probably aspire to be in the England team, someone that wants to be in the Euro 2020. He probably doesn't have a chance to be in it this season, but you have to have a run of games continuing, and that's what Rob Holding needs, in my opinion. But let's see how he performs. He was a captain in the game in the first leg, so hopefully he has a much better game this time round, and hopefully he doesn't look as shaky as he did in the first leg. Now we're going to move into the left centre-back position, and this is where Mikel Arteta might change things up a little. And I think he might actually go with Gabriel Magalhaes, given the fact that he wasn't that bad versus Villarreal, and he's someone that he might go with given the fact that he is very physical, and the fact that Pablo Mari was quite shaky in the game. His worst performance against Villarreal. I don't know, the setting got to him, the environment got to him. I don't know what has got to him, because he's a huge Villarreal. He's been in the area of Valencia. He's someone that knows this area. He loves this city. So he is someone that probably might have got to him. The vibes may have got to him, and he probably wasn't in the right mindset at that right moment in time. But you're a very experienced defender. You should be able to focus on the game. But he still wasn't the worst out of the whole bad bunch, in my opinion, in the first leg. So we have all to play for. And I'm really nervous as an Arsenal fan, because everyone's thinking, okay, key players are back. Aubameyang's back. Lacazette could be back. Kieran Tierney's all in contention. But would these players gel in that scenario? You can get a very bad Arsenal team, or you can get an amazing Arsenal team. I want to see that Arsenal team that played Slavia Prague in the second leg, where we just dominated football. We really cared about the game. Slavia Prague had nothing to do with the game at all. They got finished, and that's what I want to see in this performance. But can we actually deliver it against a very tactical opponent in the form of Unai Emery and a very good Villarreal side when they're on their day as well? So in that left centre-back position, I think Mikel Arteta is actually going to go with Gabriel Magalhaes, given the fact that Paco Alcacer, the centre-forward for Villarreal, is someone that is very physical. And if Mikel Arteta is going to go with very physical centre-backs, he's probably going to go with Gabriel Magalhaes. And I think Gabriel Magalhaes is going to start ahead of Pablo Mari, even though I've been calling it every single lineup from now on. Play Gabriel Magalhaes and Pablo Mari together. But I don't know if Mikel Arteta will ever listen to me. Would he actually do it on the day? We have to wait and see what happens. Now we're going to move into that left back position, and this is where Mikel Arteta has a big decision to make. He either has to hope Kieran Tierney is back, or he either has to do something if he's going to go with the back three like we mentioned at the start, or is he going to go with Granit Xhaka in that left back position. So he has two options. If Kieran Tierney is back, Kieran Tierney starts. If Kieran Tierney is fit, Kieran Tierney starts. If Kieran Tierney is match fit, he will start ahead of Granit Xhaka. But given the fact that Dani Ceballos is someone that is injured, Mikel Arteta is probably thinking, if I'm going to play El Neni, would he be able to do it at the big stage? We have to wait and see. He did perform very well against Newcastle United. You can't get me wrong there. But can he do it on a consistent basis? This is not no Newcastle United, a very struggling Newcastle United side. This is a Villarreal side that are on an advantage. When it comes to Newcastle, they were probably on a disadvantage. We had nothing to play for. They were probably on a disadvantage, given the fact that they are stressed about the fact that they could also get relegated. So we're in a disadvantage now. We're placing a team that have an advantage on us. Is the mindset going to be there with these players? Is Mikel Arteta going to put Granit Xhaka in that left centre mid position and play maybe a back three? So there's a lot of things riding on this position. Is Mikel Arteta going to have Kieran Tierney back? Is Mikel Arteta going to play Bukayo Saka in that left back position? So you have a lot of things riding in this left back position, but I really do think Mikel Arteta is going to go with Granit Xhaka. Given the fact that we don't have options in that left back position is a huge mistake, a huge transfer mistake by Mikel Arteta, is that he didn't sign a cover to Kieran Tierney. And it might cost us this whole season. And I think that we have to pray that Granit Xhaka doesn't get done by Chukwueze, because that guy looks like they're Bukayo Saka. He's playing on the right wing. He's causing problems. He's doing what the other players can't do. He has the heart, the desire and the passion and the drive to attack Granit Xhaka's side. And Granit Xhaka has a big job on his hand, because it all rides on if Kieran Tierney is back, will he play him? Or is Mikel Arteta going to say, look, Saka, you play your opponent, you play in that left back position, you played there before, we're going to take the risk. We have other players that can also play in that right winger role, we're going to put you in that left back position. So for me, if thinking about the back four right now, currently in this moment in time, I have to say that Bernd Leno in goal is someone that I would definitely go with, given the fact that this guy needs confidence. This guy saved us in the first leg of the game versus Villarreal, so I'll probably go with him with the respect that he's going to perform well. He's going to make sure that we get that clean sheet, and all we need is one goal and a clean sheet to win this game. But knowing Arsenal, we will definitely concede. We will have to do harder than usual. So you have to wait and see if the Mikel Arteta's boys can do what they've done against Slavia Prague. In that second leg, I was really surprised, because I've never seen Arsenal play as good as they did, like they did versus Slavia Prague in a very long time. So hopefully Mikel Arteta's men can do something like that. We have to wait and see. But in that goalkeeper position, I'm happy with that. The right back position, I'm happy with that. When my two centre backs, I'd rather go with Pablo Mari and Gabriel Magalhaes. We will take the risk. We have to take the risk, in my opinion. Pablo Mari knows the game well. He's someone that's calm and composed. He knows how to start an attack. We don't have the experienced centre back like a David Luiz. We can only rely on a Rob Holding or a Pablo Mari. But for me, Rob Holding or Pablo Mari, I would choose Pablo Mari any day at the moment. And in terms of a physical centre back next to him, he could go with Rob Holding, but I think I'd rather see Gabriel Magalhaes together. These two together, I think, will create problems for that attacking three of Chukwueze, the guys of Paco Alcacer and Gerard Moreno. These three players won't even have an opportunity to attack, in my opinion. But Mikel Arteta will never listen to me, and I'm not the manager of Arsenal. And in that left back position, this is where the big thing lies. I don't want to see Granit Xhaka play that at all, given the fact that I'd rather see Saka play in that position. If Kieran Tierney is injured, he can't play from the first minutes, or Tierney play in that position. I don't want to see Xhaka play in that position because Chukwueze, that guy, is someone that has talents. He knows how to rip a defence, he knows how to open a defence apart, and with Granit Xhaka's pace, something that he lacks badly, very badly. We're not given everything in life, so Granit Xhaka's pace is something that he's not being given to him. He will have to work on something. He have to have some sort of tactics to prevent Chukwueze, and I'll go with Bukayo Saka, given the fact that if you have Bukayo Saka, and who I say further up in my lineup, even though we're looking at how Mikel Arteta will line up Arsenal, it will probably make sense in your opinion and in my opinion. So now we're going to move into that right centre mid position, and this is where I'll probably say is the easiest option, even though he hasn't been looking decent in that game versus Villarreal in the first leg, and that is Thomas Partey. And he has his opportunity to say, look, I was poor against Villarreal. We all know that. Everyone expected Thomas Partey to be the game changer, someone that's played Villarreal before. He's played against them twice for the last 5 years. So imagine how many times he's played against Villarreal. But with Arsenal, he has had a different season. He has had a different setup. He has had a different injury record. Everything has gone different at Arsenal. And he can make one thing the same against Villarreal, and that is if he can put on another amazing performance against the top side in the form of Villarreal. And if Thomas Partey can play that performance, show the heart, the determination, the desire, create something, do something with the ball, and I think Thomas Partey has the ability, but he will have to do it in this game because there's no other game you're going to get praise than this game. And we're talking about legends like Patrick Vieira, we're talking about legends like Thierry Henry. These players, they want the game against a top level side. When they have a Champions League final, where even though we lost, even when we have a final, these players are just another level, and that's something we need to see from Thomas Partey. If he is the other level, he needs to get to that next level. He will have to perform in this match. It's a one-off game. We can beat them in a one-off game, in my opinion. Now, we're going to move into the left centre mid position, and since we're looking at Mikel Arteta, since we're going with Granit Xhaka in the left centre mid position, Dani Ceballos is red carded, so we won't play in this game. It pretty much leaves one man, that is Mohamed Elneny. And for Mohamed Elneny, this is a good opportunity to try and get recognised by the Arsenal manager, to get recognised by the Arsenal fan base, and show everyone that he deserves to be starting on a consistent basis. Because everyone will be singing his praises if he has a decent performance. If Mikel Arteta goes with this lineup and Elneny has an amazing performance, then everyone will be singing Mikel Arteta's praises, Elneny's praises, and if he can get a nice another wonder goal against Villarreal, it'll only mean good things for the Gunners. Now, we're going to move into the right winger position, and this is where someone that Mikel Arteta has pretty much said, this is your position, like the likes of goalkeeper, but Leno, the likes of Thomas Partey in that right centre mid position, and in that right winger position, there's only one man that plays in that position, and his name is Bukayo Saka. And Bukayo Saka is someone that deserves to play in that position, given the fact that he actually created something. He is the one that got us that goal back. He was furious with his other players. He was furious with his teammates. He was furious that we weren't good enough at all, and he knows it. He's saying at a young age, at 19, he might be experienced on the pitch, but he may not be mature enough to speak in front of a big crowd, to speak in a post-match interview. He knows what every Arsenal fan is saying, and you have to give him respect to that. He's a generational talent in my opinion. I've been calling it from every single day. And this guy will change things happen. If he plays like he did in the game versus Slavia Prague, we have a good chance of smashing Villarreal in my opinion. And I'll say that word again, smashing Villarreal again like we did against Slavia Prague. Now we're going to move into that number 10 role, and this is where Mikel Arteta has two options. You go with Martin Odegaard or you go with Emil Smith-Rowe, and I think Mikel Arteta is actually going to go with Emil Smith-Rowe instead of Martin Odegaard, and for me, I'm happy with that decision given the fact that Emil Smith-Rowe is someone that is decent, someone that knows his stuff, someone that works hard for the team, someone that just links up play, someone that's very graceful on the ball. And for me, Smith-Rowe, he knows this game. If he plays like he did against Slavia Prague, the link-up play with bukayo Saka, it will all be a dream for the Gunners in my opinion if they can batter Villarreal and get into that Europa League final where we'll have a tough opponent in the form of Manchester United. So it all depends on how Emil Smith-Rowe plays versus Villarreal. Mikel Arteta will probably go with Smith-Rowe ahead of Martin Odegaard, given the fact that Martin Odegaard played against Newcastle, showing that Smith-Rowe is a number 10, that number 1 person in that number 10 role, and you can clearly see that he is one of the first players that's going to be in this team sheet, and hopefully Smith-Rowe has an amazing performance versus Villarreal. Now we're going to move into the left winger role, and this is where many people have been calling for the likes of Gabriel Martinelli, and there are two options pretty much in this left wing position. We got the likes of Gabriel Martinelli, or we got the likes of nicolas Pepe, someone that coolly finished that penalty versus Villarreal. He went right down the middle. I can still see it right in my eyes. Someone that's been going for a good run of form, someone that could score an all-important goal versus Villarreal, someone that can show Unai Emery that you made a mistake. Many people were saying that you were bad, but look at me now. I will get this game, I'll get this victory for my team, and that is nicolas Pepe that will definitely play in that left winger role ahead of the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and ahead of the likes of other players such as Willian that pretty much don't get a look in at the moment. And this is what Mikel Arteta is going to go with. I'm going to just say my predicted lineup just after the striker role. And in the striker role, there's one man that's going to play there, our captain, our talisman, our person that scores in the big games. He is going to have a huge game in my opinion. He got his confidence with the goal versus Newcastle United. Now it's time for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to tell those haters to shush and finish this game off himself. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is definitely going to start in that striker role. I will tell him, look, you've been poor. You have to take criticism at this stage. He is someone that loves to take criticism apparently from many sources. So this is an opportunity to show everyone that he's a top level striker. We all spent the big bucks for him. We spent the big money for him for his contract. So he needs to show that he has the capacity and the capability and the mindset to finish this game off for the Gunners. So this is how I think Mikel Arteta is going to line up Arsenal. If we were going to go with how I will line up Arsenal, I will go with Bernd Leno in goal, Callum Chambers in the right back position, Pablo Mari in that right centre back position, left centre back Gabriel Magalhaes, left back Kieran Tierney if Kieran Tierney is fit, but if he's not fit, then I'll go with bukayo Saka. If bukayo Saka is playing in that left back role, then this will lead to Granit Xhaka playing in the left centre mid position and Thomas Partey in the right centre mid position. In the number 10 role, I'll go with Smith-Rowe in the right winger role. If Kieran Tierney is fit, then bukayo Saka plays in that position. If Kieran Tierney is not fit, if bukayo Saka plays in the left back position, then nicolas Pepe will play in the right winger role. And in the left winger role, Gabriel Martinelli will play if bukayo Saka plays in the left back row, and these two in that left hand side will cause the problems in that attack for Arsenal and will give Villarreal problems defensively, so we can cause something, we can get a good goal straight away, two players that can change the game straight away, and that's what we need from our Arsenal players. And now, in terms of the striker, there's only one man I'm going to go with, even though I'd love to see Alexandre Lacazette play. He's someone that's probably back into contention as stated by Mikel Arteta, but is this another bluff? We'll have to wait and see. So there's a bit of a change in my lineups. As you can see, it depends heavily on Kieran Tierney. If he's fit, he plays, then Martinelli doesn't play, but if he's not fit, then Martinelli plays in my opinion. So that's the best way to sum it up in my opinion. But this is how I think Mikel Arteta is going to line up Arsenal. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace. Bye.